Flat of British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Hi guys, good to see you. Good to see you back at the great Flat of British think tank. Special Flatterday night, which we adore. It's a tradition here in Flat of British realms, okay? To kick back, zero fucks given after the really weird week, especially this week when the whole world's gone to shit in a handbag, in case you haven't noticed, and not really worry too much about all that. You will hear nothing about weirdness and, you know, paranoia and V things in this post, okay? Okay. Well, it's good to be back. I would have been back at an earlier opportunity, but one circumstance and another, it was just not going to happen. And plus, earlier today, I recorded a 2-hour vlog for my Flatterday night special for you all, and I never had the microphone on. This is me now persevering as not to let everybody down. I know. So, what we're going to look into, I know, in this post, guys, is mind-blowing. It's an extension of what we looked into in the last post of churches and cathedrals being repurposed. Transportation stations. And what I'm going to look into in this is the very real, and I think it is real, possibility of an underground rail link supplying Starforts in antiquity, and I will show you all now. Okay, why I think so. So there's going to be 1,000 clues in this, okay, and we're going to look into in the second part time travel. We're going to look at the time travel. We're going to look into Kozyrev Mirrors. Okay, and Kozyrev Mirrors, and a clue from some of the anomalous buildings that we've been witnessing and not working out what they are, especially in the Far East. So the possibility of stone transmitters, machines called mirrors that let us glimpse into the future. Mirrors of the past, safeguarding our future, so we can get tip-offs for what goes down, especially in these epically weird times. And 1,000 thoughts besides. I'm basically going to have a Brian storm for an hour or so. I would have loved to have gone live before as a precursor on Flat Earth British Think Tank, but I think I'm running out of time now. It's 20 to 8 UK time, so drastically running out of time. I'm hoping to see this tonight. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share this out. Please, please, please share this out. And here we go. Now, clueage. Now, I've been looking into the ancient medieval city of Ypres in Belgium, okay, Western Flanders, the famous Ypres that got obliterated in World War I, okay, and I've been looking into its antiquity and very much its Starfort for clues, and I stumbled across something. Okay, you ready? Okay, do my best. Now, peace and love, sure, as well. Hope everybody's okay and alright in this very, very epic weirdness at this moment in time. So I collect these paintings of the Middle Ages or 1600s. This one's from 1649 of Ypres. Okay, I dug this one out and I thought, bingo. I'll show you the full image now. And it's a battle, a load of troops moving in to Ypres Starfort. Exactly what they do in First World War, hundreds of years later. Now, Ypres itself is mind-blowing. What you find is you've got these camps everywhere, so huge amounts of troops. Did they all come across these muddy paths? Okay, from anomalous different church machines in the landscape. Now, what you find in Ypres, and we got a few examples of this in this post, is there are no dwellings in Ypres. It is all antiquitech devices, meaning it's all churches and cathedrals. So it's no military interest. There's no military in there. It's not built to protect people because there's no dwellings, only a couple of windmills and a load of cathedrals and churches. Is this a transportation hub? Because it is in the 20th century. We'll take a look. Take note of some of these feeders going into it as well. Okay, so take note, there's no houses, there's only antiquitech buildings in this painting. Okay, but it's, you know, they pinpoint like tiny little houses in these like little Angkor Wat Starforts and other little houses. So there are dwellings on the outskirts, or maybe gatehouses type things, but Nothing inside, okay? Just see like paths and stuff, but no dwellings. So I got to thinking, well, this area was extensively tunnelled in World War One. And not only was it tunnelled, they had the miners in from Australia and South Waleshire to dig massive tunnel systems, okay? But something else, a penny dropped further. I thought, hang on a minute, how futuristic are these? So what, we jump a couple of 100 years into the future and now the soldiers need to dig in with shovels? Trenches. Yet you go back into the 1650s and they got all these super high complex, and I will show you how complex now, it's mind-blowing, Starfort systems. So is this Starfort system still around Ypres in the First World War? Yeah, but I can't catch photographs of them attacking it. I wish I could, but it is very big cluage, as I'll show you now. Just Breda, same area. Now what you find is a couple of 100 years later, or in the last century, is an entire underground supply system, rail network comes under this entire area. It all goes into this Maginot line between the German and the Belgian border, or the Belgium and the French border, to keep out the Germans in case of any invasion. And it was manned constantly, giant underground railways, and they say it was built in the 30s. So when you look at the photographs, these are ancient tunnels, and it's just there already. And we have seen on Flat Earth British that, especially in Kirshner books, again, look, just one Antiquitech device. There's trees, and there's no dwellings. In Kirshner books, that Starforts have tunnel systems mapped out to various churches or church machines in the distance. These are transportation hubs, and I'll show you more evidence of why we think so along the way. And you get these little satellites as well. But look how complex Breda's is. Barrage, going across a swamp. So they've gone backwards. You get 100, yeah, look, no graves in this church machine at all. Looks half buried, and you obviously no graves because it's a subway station. They will always show you from a bird's eye perspective, and it always looks like a photograph too. But windmills, no dwellings, even in this little Starfort. Look, so in this little Starfort, you just got a church machine, a station, yeah, and all of this, no people, just a building, and all of this strange epic weirdness going on. Yeah, cluage, same here, and these towers as well, these little bastion towers, all along. But look at the scale. Let's just mag out the scale of Breda Starfort system. They went backwards in history, guys, in time, because this is just epically stupid that they should dig in with shovels in mud when I just don't believe that narrative. I think that they were accessing on already their civilization and tunnel systems, and I think they were obliterating it too. Here's Ypres Starfort again, okay, and it is highly advanced and complex just to protect this. Even if it was a small city inside, I still think this is over the top sophistication and technology to protect it. But we see on maps, and I'll show you now, that there's no people in there, no military in there, just what look like stations and gardens. So why does it look like a combustion engine? Why does it look like a two-stroke engine? Piston rod, piston. Why do these look exactly like pistons? So much we don't know about these things and this water technology. So here's Ypres again. Okay, and what we're finding is there's, in this later or earlier period, there's no water on the other side. We've still got this moatage going on. And the same sort of Starfort, but only them churches, same ones. Okay, and the Martin's Cathedral, and only allotments, no dwellings. So it's only allotments and no dwellings. Maybe a few houses here, but trees, 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 trees. No houses, just trees, and allotments at that period. Churches and allotments. So there it is again. We call it Ypres or Ypres, and the British soldiers in First World War called it Wipers. We're going to Wipers because they couldn't pronounce the French version. Ypres, which looks like Ypres. And there it is, later stage. It looks more like that in the modern day. If you look at it on Google, you can still see the Starfort. Now, this is the western front of the First World War. Goes from Newport, North Sea, down the Swiss border, 800 miles long. And Ypres is smack there where Pomerania is, in the middle. Okay, 3 of the worst battles, including Passchendaele, outside of Verdun, in the whole of the First World War. It was the epicenter of all the action. Was this very famous now, if you look into this subject, Ypres salient. Germans and the British dug in. You have very, very famous battles like Passchendaele, first gas attacks, and just immense casualties over this little Starfort city. And I showed you this on my last thumbnail, this little church machine acting as a subway entrance. Oh, not connected, but it is. This is what happens to this boy the first time he ever seen television. Look what it does. It's like, gone. I was like that. I was like in the television. Anyway. So, let me just show you Ypres a minute in history here. It was a medieval city, beautiful cathedral, all taken out. I'll show you some footage, not video, some valuable video footage. And some of these outer Starforts, which you just witnessed on that painting of 1650s, 40s. And they just got obliterated, but they were part of a massive system, including Fort Dumont, Fort Vaux, and famous, and they were all connected by underground tunnels in the modern day, or in the First World War. So they were there before. And they had railways, so they were there before. And this is part of this Starfort original system of Ypres. And you can see staircases going down the wall, and then it goes out into a more rudimentary, stick and dugout trench system, what you'd expect to see in the First World War. But the original, going back in time, was stone and brick. Okay, from the 1600s. And here's one of the forts before, which is that's Verdun. That's in the south, when Ludendorff decided to make France bleed by just doing an attritional battle, no gains, just making sure he could kill as many human beings as humanly possible. Okay, in the Mincer. And there it is, Ypres. And this wicked cluage now coming up in this footage of a Zeppelin pilot flying over this city. The Starfort's all out here, and this is inside the Starfort. Completely obliterated. They managed to get some scaffolding around the church. It looks beautiful in the modern day, very much put back together. Obliterated in this. And there it is, part of the old Starfort of Ypres, out into the old muddy, modern day, crappy, because we went backwards in technology, muddy trenches. Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it? And they had to lay rail down. Now, it is no secret that railway has been used to deploy troops as early as trains were around. So in the American Civil War, they were deploying armaments, as in big cannons, and huge amount of troops to the front line to fight. And they were doing the same in the First World War above ground as well. As huge amounts of mining operations going on, where they would blast away entire hillsides, like the Lochnagar crater in this area, to blow up, 10,000 Germans? I think not. I think there was something inside them hills. So the obliteration of this city. And here they are bringing in some German prisoners. Just one Tommy, 2 Tommies. An injured and a load of German prisoners. Never seem to need many guards. And look at this Greco-Romano temple in the background, guys. And the size of this door arch full of rubble. The whole thing just turned to rubble. What you find is that this is an old medieval, but it's Tartarian, and you see all the mud flood cellars in all these buildings. Just turned to rubble. And there it is in its heyday. Absolutely beautiful antiquitech. These beautiful like little medieval sort of buildings came along later. Obviously not mapped in them pictures. So before, St Martin. Good name for a cathedral. Obliterated. And also one of their main civic buildings to dust. And before and after Ypres Cathedral. So it looks exactly like this again today. It's beautiful. Hope you go back, and this is some of their buildings. Look at this Phoenician building, guys. Red brick. So they put the Phoenician portals in. Look who just arrived in reality through the portals. Oh, fucking whoopee do. Yeah, make my fucking skin crawl. I don't know what's happened here, but it looks like the melting of something. Ugh. What's that? Don't know. So that was in Ypres during the battle, and this is on the front line, illuminated by the rockets. And it's a creeping barrage, terrible technology, but it's the only way we get gains. Is the barrage goes in front of you, and you've got to walk into it, just behind. Yeah, just behind the explosives, high explosives. Okay, now this guy, Zeppelin pilot, he flew over Ypres in 1918, and I've got some footage here I'm going to show you. And this is where I went wrong the last time. Is I turned the volume off to show this video, and I never put it back on. The rest of the video and I have no volume, so we'll make that mistake again. But check this out, guys, for cluage. Check this out.
And after 4 years of the most destructive war mankind had ever known, an airship travels along the Western Front to film these extraordinary pictures of its aftermath. Here's the shattered medieval city of Ypres, flattened by 4 years of bombardment, only fragments of its ancient cloth hall still standing. Here's the sodden battlefield of Passchendaele, the ground pitted with water-filled shell holes. Today, the town's a peaceful place, completely rebuilt above the ruins of 90 years ago. This is the town of Lens, where local people had set up a street market next to houses so damaged that all that remained were the gaping holes of what had once been cellars. On the plateau of the Chemin des Dames, east of Paris, a group of rusting French tanks abandoned in the former no man's land. And everywhere, the trenches, zigzagging across the countryside in sometimes intricate networks, stretching as far as the eye could see.
Although this was shot in 1919, it gives us an entirely...
Don't want to hear him. So yeah, did you see the mud flood cellars? And it's no mistake, the trench lines are zigzagged, look exactly like the layout of what was originally concrete in a Starfort system. Do you see the zigzag? Look exactly like the Starfort zigzags in the same place. Hundreds of years later, they follow in the same lines. They have to be. So, excuse me. What you find is years later they introduced on the same area this rather expansive retractable turret gun system front line that never really got used. Here is an Alsace. Look at this thing. Beautiful. And they had the underground railway delivering everything to all of these Starforts. Essentially Starforts. They're on old Starfort systems. Excuse me. On all Starfort systems. Now, what you find is in the Maginot Line, it's built in, ahead of, apparently World War II, never ever gets used. Okay, it was included in the phony war. And what you find is some of the photographs of the tunnels. This place looks super ancient. built between 1933 and whatever, and look at it, over expansive, going right under hillsides, all in this area which I'm just showing you. Do you see the age on this? You know, they got stalagmites and stalactites and saltpeter hanging off, and they're that old. Here's some of the entrances to some of these, you know, what are connected to this entire Starfort system of this area. Here's the forts by underground railway, guys. Yeah. They were doing it in the Starfort days. The tunnels were there. We'll show you evidence now that the railway tunnels of what they say is the undergrounds of the cities, they were just digging them out. Look at these things. Honeycombed railway trains underneath these bunkers and these systems, and it's vast. Look, everything, power. And the Germans had the same sort of thing as well. They had a front line, didn't they? The Hindenburg line as well. And it's like, you know, just driving tanks through there as a railway line. I think for sure. This is an interesting building. This is where the Oxfordshire's light infantry was staying in Ypres. And it is a Tartarian building. I can't see if it's mud flood affected because of the sandbags. Certainly looks like. But they've had the wireless, or the radio, excuse me, put there because it's HQ, I take it. But look outside. It's just mud and stones. And these strange pillars like from an older world, like everything's been wrecked. It's not war inflicted, this is like what it looks like. Maybe it was condemned, the roof's a bit smashed. But look at that, guys. Little onion dome with what they call a belfry. Is there a bell in that? It's not church. You know, what is this? It's technosmia. These buildings were kitted out with it. Portal, blocked up portal. Wow, amazing building. I was really intrigued with that one. It looks quite haunting though, doesn't it? It's a really weird building. So on railway also, as well as underground to the location, above you can get 33 pictures. We won't be looking at all that number. Super guns, super cannons, okay? Like the Nazis, they went completely fucking mental on super cannons. At one stage, you know, Goliaths, okay, where it was at in this place, okay? You could shoot across the Bristol Channel at Dover without getting close to your enemy, or one of them in Belgium on the Western Front in the First World War. Huge cannons. In my mind, they show us huge howitzer type cannons in the Great Expositions in the early 1880s, excuse me. They had these on trains, big cannons on trains right the way back, as long as the train's been going, which is not the official narrative. It's absolute bullshit to think that Stephenson's rocket in the early 1800s to, you know, high speed floatable fucking trains, pneumatic trains in New York within a 20-year period is insane thinking. Okay, there's something else obviously going on, and they're digging it out. The older civilization that is mud flooded. I'll show you the evidence now, clear evidence, guys. So the craziness of railway gunnage. Look at this, absolutely huge. And they could fire at Paris from miles away. And you don't even have to be close to your enemy. Look at this, French railway. What's these things? They're interesting. I guess they could be lights for the trains, etc. So, gunnery, extremo. Okay, so also troops, huge guns. Okay, think of all these cities and stuff that we've seen taken out in the past. So, excuse me, 2 secs. Is that bit? Okay. Trains. Now, these are from apparently 1850s to 1860s, coming up to the American Civil War, and you see the beautifulest trains. Now, I think there's a graveyard in Wales, in Barry Island, for trains that look like this, but not the American style. These are really groovy. You get these things on them, Casey Jones style, and a big massive torch electric. And as you can see, they have action moving shots in 18 1950s, no problem whatsoever. I really like this shot. And they also have codes and everything on the trains. Everything's really quite advanced, you know, for the railways. But they do build new buildings. I think this one's new. But the railways themselves, like for example, this is coming along, I guess, gather out of a tunnel. And I get that they put these stones, but did they really lay them stones? If so, why are the stones covered in moss and dirt and looking really ancient? Yeah, so it's safe to presume that this thing was there already. You see all that algae, yeah. And these bits were put on top, and the railway, just reverse engineering after events. And we've already proved and shown you on Flat Earth British that the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal were already dug out and there in Kirchner's books in the 1600s. That's a nice shot. Oh, Dougie, you know, he's doing a bit of oiling. Look how spanky new and lovely their trains are. He's cleaning that, or changing the bulb. What that runs on. So that's a number 2. Are these for the tumbleweed to kick them out of the way, or is it for dead cows? You know, cows are laying on the track. Look how shiny new the engines are, man. Wow, I love that one. Yeah, I bet you love your engine, mate. I would too. Eating house and hotel. Yeah, there's an abundance of hotel. People moving around everywhere. So that goes up hills, mountains. The first in the world apparently is in Wales, Snowdon, the oldest steam mountain railway in existence. Look at this. So yeah, same narrative for America and Russia. They both went transcontinental railways. The Americans went from the east coast, had a shit of a time across the Rockies, and met the Chinese who was coming across from the Pacific side, and they met them in the middle of nowhere, shook hands like they did with the Channel Tunnel. Yeah. And there's a transcontinental railway, exactly what the Russians did with their railway, and we've proved all the way along their route, looking at Tomsk and Omsk and other cities. These are mud flood affected cities. You know, see all this mud? Look at this. Oh, they're just building now. Cool. Nice little tunnel. So, these are moving images from the 1850s. You get to later, you know, 1890s, and everyone's got to stand still for a photograph. But in this period, earlier, the Detroit Photographic Company will give you pristine, HD, sparkly images of their lovely shiny trains, and I bet they're beautiful in there. Okay? Not like now, where they're stinking fucking dirty. Look at that nice bit of stonework under there. Ah, the golden age of steam. We need to bring that back. Love a bit of steam enginery. Okay, these are shitty Vera British trains have got zero appeal. Don't really feel anything. Just they haven't got no. Look at that. They haven't gone. Oh, runner. They haven't got no buffet car. You know, in British Rail days, you used to have a buffet car where you could stuff your face. You could have a couple of cans of Stella. You could have a fag leaning out of the window. Or often you get your head, you know, cut off by a train on the other track. Not me, personally, but other people. It's not all this. Obviously not me. What's that got on the roof? It's like a Tartarian thing. So, the age of steam. It's older. And it was buried. And I'll show you evidence later on along in this vlog. Now, what we're going to look into now, just have a drink, because I'm losing time, it's 8 o'clock, that's fine. Kozyrev's Mirrors. Now, Kozyrev's Mirrors are trippy, but he's a bit of a glowbed, and I don't want to go with that. And there's some narratives in this that are useful to us, so that's why we're going to look at it. Plus, it's mirrors and time travel. It's pretty cool. So, the past, present, and the future is here and now. By removing blockages and expanding the consciousness, we are able to gain access to information from the past and the future. Science researchers in Dixon, with the use of Kozyrev's mirrors open access to information field of the land and perceived flow of energy time from the future, which provides a unique opportunity for the researchers to get estimates, timely information for many cosmic and Earth events concerning geopolitical situation, threat to life, public welfare, or human health. Okay. Interesting though. After 73 degrees northern latitude, the passage of time is changing and access to the information from the future can be detected. Future, present, in the present, at this location. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, it goes into experiments. There's people has flashbacks, guinea pigs, basically students. This is quite interesting. The important detail on the top of their head of every student was a concave metal mirror, which is created by Kozyrev. Most of Kozyrev's mirrors are made of aluminium twisted boards, but they are also made of copper, silver, and others. What others? Mercury. It has been experimentally shown that the mental ability of people stimulated their focus over several hours is multiplying. They are grinding information 4 to 6 times faster, and their memory is 3 to 2 times more helpful. Some of them suddenly start to speak in foreign languages which they've never studied before. Others start to sing like a nightingale. Third makes a complex mathematical calculation in seconds. 83% of the participants in the experience with Kozyrev's mirrors have special feeling, participate in historical events centuries ago, move objects in space without physical contact with them, transmission and reception from broadcast from distance. Some cases saying telepathic information can be obtained within a few hours of the broadcast from the human antenna, and others, guinea pigs, have strange visions. Okay, turns out the Kozyrev mirrors may heighten our sensitivity. So it gives you a few examples of experiments, quite interesting. I'll give you the link, don't worry. He's not a purveyor of modern physics at all, but his contemporaries, his colleagues, considered him an idiot. So basically, because he's not thinking like their ways and outside of the box. Cluage. Russian scientist Ernest Molshev is, in his books and interviews about the results of his expedition to Tibet, says that in the city of gods, him and his companion have found a huge stone structure similar to the mirrors of time of Kozyrev. Tibetan lamas also call these constructions mirrors, and they believed that man who fell under their influence sees the rest of his life in an instant. According to some researchers, the stone is capable of receiving, stabilizing, and transmitting the energy of time, as Molshev's claim at the Tibetan text have noted that thought is time, and man thinks with the energy of this time. Very, very, very fucking intriguing to my mind. It goes into other stupid stuff like to do with planets and space and stuff, so we won't be looking at that. I'll give you the link. I was thinking about these, the carousel. John Levy was talking about them, and I remember one when I was a child. I think it was in Western Superman. It had mirrors on the inside, and when it span, you could see yourself spinning. It was really, really disorientating. And there's a movie out called Carousel, a musical. In this film, he gets on a carousel, it spins crazily, and he gets transported back in time, where he has to amend a murder that he's done, or apparently not done, but that's not the issue. So these are proposed in the movies, like the really, really famous Rochesters and Hammerstein musical, no less, right? As being transportation or portals or time travel devices. Now, we've seen crazy buildings going along with these, and a lot of these things in fairgrounds tap back to the Tartarian, Tartarian Empire and civilization. Their style, the Tartarian style is all over Victorian fun fairs, their buildings, surely, and their amusements, So the meaning of carousel is a bit weird. Carousel describes a rowdy gathering that invokes drinking too much alcohol. Carousel is said to be a popular pastime amongst rock stars. So like the Bacchusite's masquerade ball is also a carousel. But it gives you all other definitions. But I found that intriguing, and if you put mirrors on, and I'm thinking the inside of bunco booths, mirrors. Kozyrev's mirrors, all facing in, spinning round at incredible speed. Okay? That could transport you. They've been out a long time, lenses. This was apparently 3,000-year-old rock crystal. It was discovered in 1850 in the Syrian palace of Nimrud, in modern-day Iraq, and is said to be a magnifying glass or a burning glass for starting fires. So it's thousands-year-old, polished, magnifying glass. Could be used for some sort of other technology that modern-day academia would never admit to. Okay. Moving on, more curiosities and thoughts. Now, before I start with this, I need a drink, and I'm running out of time, so try to... They switched the summer off in Britain, it's gone back to winter. I had the heating on earlier, my hands were like ice. They are now, they're cold. Ugh. So we'll look at this in a minute. No. What I'm going to think about now, guys, or what I'm going to tell you about, is we got the Flat Earthers, Tartarian Flat Earth Convention in Lake Garda in Italy on the 30th of August, the bank holiday weekend of August, apparently on. Okay, so I'm just going to presume that's happening and cool and everything else, although I am seeing like you got to go into 2 weeks quarantine if you come back from Italy. So is that 2 weeks hanging out in your flat, or is it 2 weeks in a concentration camp locked away from all the things that you like? Because I wouldn't be doing that. So yeah, so that's ongoing as well. I was in an interview this week with young Philip Miles. It was an absolutely really cool interview. I will link up. It was just an unbelievable conversation. I totally enjoyed that. That was a couple of nights ago. Dang, my brain's turned to putty and fudge. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I live in Wales, right, which is a massive country, okay? No, it's not, it's really little, and it's in Britain. Have you heard of that? Airstrip 1. I'm from Airstrip 1. Anyway, on the west side of Airstrip 1 is this little country called Wales. I live in its capital, it's called Cardiff, and outside of Cardiff, this belongs to Cardiff as well, it's a tiny little island called Flat Home, okay? But it's jam-packed full of incredible things, like a plague hospital. Okay, now this guy, the Vikings were there first, obviously, full of World War One, World War Two, Napoleonic stuff. But the further back you go, the better the technology. This is a plague hospital for people who had typhus from Cardiff, not typhus, TB, tuberculosis, and it was just like a massive Tartarian building put out on an island in the Bristol Channel. Look at the stonework on that. It was a quality building, guys. But what I found interesting was this little chestnut by here concerning this gun emplacement. Okay, tells you a little story about it. So have a listen to what he's saying, what it did. I find this incredibly interesting. 2 secs. Let me just mute my mic.
This is the gun pit for one of the Moncrieff guns, situated all around the island. And they were quite genius because although the cannons themselves were regular 6-ton muzzle-loading cannons, they were placed on Moncrieff carriages. And what they did was, when they weren't in use, they were folded down in these pits. And they could aim them, they could load them, they could do everything ready, and then with a little spring-loading mechanism, the whole carriage would lift the 6-ton cast iron cannon straight up, shoot, and the blast of the shot would make the whole thing go back down again. This made it virtually invisible for any enemy vessel out in the sea. A fantastic, fantastic invention.
As you can imagine, for both naval and air invasion, the Bristol Channel was a sort of almost a roadmap to some of our major cities. So we again fortified across the channel of an aerial defence. A bit more to it this time round. There was, like I said, there was about 350 guys were stationed over here, which is just a phenomenal number of people.
Despite the heavy armour on the island, the efficiency was rather poor.
One night, after really heavy bombardment and the guns were going like crazy, all the shipping that was in the channel had actually been hit by all the shrapnel falling from the sky. So obviously we've been firing all these cannons left, right and centre into the sky, and I'm pretty certain that pretty much all the ships in the area reported some form of damage from shrapnel. So it was just stuff, you know, we were firing up, missing the flames, and it was just coming down and landing all over our shipping. So how successful they ever were at deterring the Luftwaffe, I'm not really sure. But,
The location in the middle
So that'd be when the Luftwaffe were blasting shit out of Britain, and all the shrapnel of the Ack all landed on the ships out of the Bristol Channel. But isn't that interesting, that cannon, you know, that technology existed, you know, in early Victoriana apparently, where it just lowers under its own recoil, so they never ever see where the cannon, and these are vast emplacements. Look at the size of these things. Just the technology is just incredible what we're learning about for so far back. So yeah, this is a place I would really love to visit. It's only probably, I don't know, 5 miles, 6 miles from where I'm living. Probably a little bit more. You can see it from streets in my area if you get a pie. But yeah, Plague Hospital, armaments, etc. Here's another place in Wales and Islands we're looking at. This was on a little documentary. The score is here. I won't play it. Here's this Robson Green. Ugh. Nah, he's alright, Robson. I'm only saying that. So this guy, fuck me, is buffing. Let's refresh.
Dream of living by the coast that usually involves by the sea,
So-
walks on the beach, or even maybe a little boat. I'm off to meet a chap.
So this guy here has
So I've arranged to
bought
meet
a
my
Starfort off the coast of Wales for $500,000.
Can't wait.
And it's tipping customers. So he's taking Robson Green out to take a look at it.
Just under 500.
And it's a proper Starfort, but I guess he's out of business
It's to
because
turn
he's
it into
planning
a
to
place that
build
can
some
be
sort
hired
of
for events, as well as somewhere for
hotel,
his family to
cafe,
enjoy.
restaurants and stuff. But check that out. Imagine buying one of them.
So how did you feel when you...
Floor.
And the fort has quite a history. Construction began in 1852 and was one of...
Interesting tale. I will link them up to them videos concerning British Islands or Welsh Islands and their history. It's very intriguing. I've been looking into that. Okay, we're moving on. Pictures of Montmirail, or old-fashioned photographs of Montmirail, of great discoveries, as I will show you now. Okay. Now they start, okay, at 1856 through to 1880s. Okay, the earliest ones are the grainiest ones. For what they show you, 1886. It's incredible antiquity. Bas reliefs, and these are on buildings, just left in the street. Okay. As you can see, it's the Phoenicians, the old juggages out, and watery theme. Check that out. I need to go the other way, excuse me. And the place is subject to mud flood. It's just an incredible, beautiful place. Only small, but these bas reliefs are in this building. And it's Phoenician. You can see the Gorgon. And the arches here, the Corinthian tops. Absolutely beautiful building. In the 1800s, 1886. And they have underground bunkers there as well. 1880s, they're showing you they have ruins there. Beautiful markets, but it's absolutely beautiful. But a lot of older world. Not sure what to make of this wall. Or them. They look like they're electric something. But I guess 1880s, 1887. Air conditioning. What do you think they are, guys? But really high buildings, 1880s. More skyscrapers. Excuse me. So 1888, and this is a nice little family. Biscuit, the curtains are not doing too well, and she's not too worried about a little kid falling down the well. Okay, contaminating the water supply. Here they are, the locals. This boy here, he looks worried, looks scared, but his little sister, she's putting her hand on his shoulder, saying, "Don't worry, because I'm looking after you." So, something sinister going on. Where's your face? You've got a mask on. She's writing stuff down. The girls look horrified mostly, or not really into it. He seems jolly. He's smiling. He's smiling. He looks like worried. Huh. Well, she's reassuring him, so it's not all going down. Oh, they're taking notes, all of them. Oh, that's a weird old photograph. Nice as well. Nice to know I had somebody look after him. Yeah, they got the need, right, is to build high, so 3-story building, because rent is really, you know, all big high buildings, right, because basically of all the population, so you've got to build up instead of out. Okay, no, there's no population there. It's all empty slots from where there were things. So there's no need to build up, do you see? So there's no need for high rises if the city's not there yet in that area. So it's full of Phoenician stuff. As you can see, this is the top of an arch. The rest is buried. Got a couple of things to hold it together. So who is that? Bellend. And nice building. Why would you brick off that beautiful building with the balustrade? And you get this strange tower shows up. There's a better one later on. I can't work out what this tower is. More locals. Have she got a mask on? Have he got a mask on? Have they all got masks on? No, it's just overexposed. Strange, isn't it? Eerie. Okay, what kind of crosses they got? Don't know what's going on there. And that's it in the past. Seems to be some sort of massacre. Yeah, you get a lot of that in antiquity. Helicopters above me again. So I posted on my Facebook only days ago. My son calls me on my walkie-talkies. I go out ham radio, so we don't have to rely on these fucking things. Sick off to communicate. And there's a girl outside being dragged from her home, about 20, decent, not a thief, not a drug addict, decent. Boyfriend stood on the door like this, looking like a bit guilty, and she's being dragged away by about 20 coppers and a helicopter just above the roof. It was just shaking furniture in here, and she was kicking and screaming, "I don't want to go, and I haven't got it." And they put her in the back of the van. Laurence said, "I can see him in the back of the van, Dad." They got her out, they're strangling her, and there's loads of them on top of her, Dad. She's a tiny young girl. I know which one it is. I can't believe it. It's just incredible in my mind. So nobody's posted, can't find anything out, because basically, well, you can report it back to the people that did it. Yeah, it's not really work. They're snatching people, guys. They're snatching people, and it's this track and trace. I don't know if she had it yet. Oh, look, he got like brain matter. Who's that? Maz. He's a troublesome sort, isn't he? Looking for a bit of trouble. Kick a bit of war off. So nice allotments. His dad taking his kids out to the allotment and oh, look at that. They got like a little summer house in their allotment. Oh, That's nice to have a little summer house at the end of your garden. I know somebody who's got one of them. Blocked up gate. And again, they got these high rises, 3-story, and there's nothing next door. It's, it's based on rent, isn't it? And you build up. This is the whole idea why they build skyscrapers. 'Cause you can't build out, you got to build up, because it's all that's buried that deep. So's that pillar and the tops of the railings in mud. Who's that? Statue of a Louis. Ugh. And there's that tower. Check that out, guys. Right, not a water tower, not a. I don't know. What do you think it is, guys? There's got something there. Look. I don't know. Are they pile driving for a building? I don't know. And this mud shows up in the centre of this city, and they're building a retaining wall to hold it in place, and it's everywhere in these photos. This giant muddy hill. As high as these buildings. And it's like, why would you not get rid of it back then? That's a mud flood hill. This city's a lot older. Okay, you see, built up. Strangest thing. And this thing here, apparently, reservoir. But look at this. Look at the stone. Look at the edge there. It's a right angle. This is dressed quality stone in pieces on the floor. And they're digging away what, guys? In putting them into trains. And look how old this building is. It's mud. They're digging away mud. Okay. There's another good clue image coming up. Check that path up to them. Zigzag. Cuts the hill a bit though. Excuse me, let me just flick through. Check that wall. Retainer. Let me just flick through. There's a few more people shots, but I want to get to something I need to show you. And time is... Oh, look at that one. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3 bunko booths on the corner of this street, guys. One's a kiosk. One's supposed to be advertising, but corporates weren't around earlier stages, so what are these things for? Antiquitect, all of them. Bigger. Outside this look seemingly opera house type thing. Tartarian building. Giant doors. Right. And there is clueage here. Ruins, 1887. So this is street level under this church machine. Coming from the church machine, which looks like a tube station, you get 2 big tunnels, just like underground tunnels for trains under the street. There's another one here. Okay, let's look at this differently. They could be sewerage tunnels. What? In concrete as high as that in that little city? No, we don't think so. So these are tunnels, reinforced, looks like Phoenician Roman concrete being emptied. In my mind, I think it's an underground, probably rail or transport network, because it looks like railway sleepers here. And this thing could be a feeder or a sewer, who knows, but these certainly not. And they're digging it out. I'll show you more evidence of this going on. Okay, of digging out of mud in antiquity. And there's a few more. There's another bas relief there. Somebody with a fasces. And more Phoenicians. And what looks like, oh, is that a frog man? It certainly is. This guy has got webbed feet and he's got a frog head. So he's a frog man, like a diver. You get frog men, don't you? They do diving. So he's one of them diver stuff. Anyway, so that is Montmorency. That was a nightclub in Cardiff. Now I'm going to whiz on. We've got some images of the day to show you. This is our website. Okay, mind-blowing mud flood, if you don't know. Okay, got shop, think tank. We'll have a look at that now, but I think it's had some problems. And I need to sell 10,000 copies and quick. Please, 10,000 views. Everyone buy a copy of Flat Earth book. Holy Grail of Flat Earth. please, if you go on Amazon and look on Amazon, it's on the, put Amazon Flat Earth in and you'll see it up there with all the previous Flat Earth authors. So here's all my stuff going on. I want to thank everyone who's been a Patreon. I got about 34 of them, so that really helps massively. Thank you very much, Patreon people. And you can donate and everything else. PayPal on the links there, and buy the book through Beauty Books as well. Fan page, photo dump, and Instagram. Really enjoying my Instagram account. So this is all what we look into. Tartarian, the Firmament, Starforts, we just looked into Fasces, Comets, Technasmia, Antiquitech, Shapes, Giants, Maps, Airships, Word Science, World's Fairs, Resets, Architecture, Art, Weather, Aquatech, Fireplaces, Resources. It's like 20,000 books in there, guys. Okay. Antiquity, Activities. And this is my son, Welsh Dragon Metals, who does post-apocalyptic currency. So their language, okay, which is jewels. Okay, or gold and silver, things that are taken and salvaged from pieces of shit. So it's money from nothing, luck from brass. Could save your life one day. Okay, check him out, my son. Peace up to him. Laurence Liedtke. So if you don't know, okay, this is my channel, Flat Earth British. Matt Liedtke. I go from here because I really like this channel because it was magical. But we have all this as well. Okay, if I show you, we have the Celtic Tartarian channel, over 1,000 videos, 5 years of all of this story so far, hundreds of videos on this subject. And this, which I would be going live on right now if my microphone had worked the first fucking time, is the Flat Earth British think tank. Okay, now I'm going to show you some images of the day of various stuff to do with railways, like this bit here. So this is French railway underground being laid, apparently. Okay, but what you find, okay, 1902, is they've shuttered off the top of a brick arch. In my knowledge, you need the pillars of the brick arch to hold it in place. If you need to be deeper, so that, what is that? Is that just the size it's going to be, or is that the top of the tunnel? Well, no, they're doing an underground railway. So shuttering the top of the arches and then digging it out. No, the whole thing would fall in. You need to have brick pillars to hold it in place, as well as the arch. Because obviously when they take the arch out, the arches will be in place, but that will all of it will be in place, and then they're going to dig it out. Does that make sense? No. So there's a tunnel under there already. It's Flat Earth British. We got good taste. Okay. And Flat Earth British thinking, this is Benini, and it is in very good taste. Is that a mirror? Yeah, I think so. So she's got mirror incorporated in her weirdness. Okay. And it's a 60s person, early, and a giant's hand, which really looks like a giant's hand, and it's pointing up. Something's happening up there. Hey, they always do it. I'm not sure what that is. That might be just Betty Boop stuff, but it might have some symbolic symbolism. Who knows? Rome. Okay, so you see these bits carved out, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, it's thousands of years of wooden coaches going over, and the wood wore the stone away over time." Right, that's what happened. Or is it the existence of another ancient, highly technological transport network? The size of these tunnels, and what you find, obviously, is it's all buried in mud this high, which got dug out by Mussolini. Nice Corinthian arch tops. So yeah, you see these on a lot of videos. New Earth talks about these depressions in stone, what they say they carved away. I'm wondering what happens in this device. Okay, it's not just for spiritual prayer. It's taking too much power. That's a monster. And look at all this technosmia going on, and this ring. So he's just going to step in there, and what's going to happen? Huh? That's like spiritual overkill, man. You come out like Superman. Just a nice bottom of a pillar. Quite decorative. So that is still on the cards. Is in my mind is a celestial event, also a conjunction or a convergence point in time and space, not the space-time in a Einsteinian thinking exists, but I mean there is a point of convergence when all this shit's gonna go down. Look at these screaming. So Phoenician. So you ain't got no problem with this lion. This Cherabanuski's like, I'll stuff your face with these flowers because he's a cruel little fucker. And it's like these same rhododendrons, and the lion's like, get off! I don't like them. Get off! Get off! No, you're having them. You're having them. Horrible. Horrible. Cherabanuskis, even little gets. So obviously there's a big flood been happening here. The roofs are all buried, but he's okay. He's up by here, getting stuff out of a well. But all the buildings are buried. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's just Bunkerville in Armageddonsville. This guy is a mountain. Okay, Alexandra. So he turned into a mountain. A lot of mountains. This is their fate is to be a giant learner status. Nice somatic pattern, but there's a lot going on in there, isn't there? Posing angels. Symbolism. Sorry, not sure what that is. And you see these Battle of Austerlitz, and you see the Battle of Waterloo. When you find is their memorials are huge pyramids with a Phoenician line on top. Either they're full of bones, human bones, or they're pyramids. And this is when Napoleon strutted into a beautiful Moscow, or one Russian city. Yeah, no, this is 1797, is it? Sure, there's another number after it. Can't be right. So I wouldn't be Napoleon because I was 11. So here's a mud flood evidence. Cool building. Okay. Granite foundation, 14 foot to ground surface line. There. 14 foot. That's the depth we talk about. And sandstone foundation. So this is how big that guy is. This is the foundation. That's your footings. And you can see these windows, which you see in city streets, are buried up to here, and here they go all the way down. And here's your evidence, okay? Also here, doorway. Mud flood windows, buried below ground level. This is your original street level. The rest was covered in mud. Sweet thing. So, an Indian god carrying a Vajra. Electronic technology. So this is I don't know, it's just a beautiful church. Very unusual design. But my Brian won't let me tell, won't recognise where it is. I can't remember. So this is, oh yeah, the Temple of Venus. Check this out, guys. So it's fountains of water, or statues or deities. All of that marble, columns going on. But what is it for? Just to worship deity. Step in. Bit of Phoenician water. No, there's definitely more going on with that. So this is an attempt to represent the Egyptian cosmology of the universe. We pretty much got it right. Flat dome or flat canopy over us. And is Elon Musk. He was portrayed on the Bear Tapestry. Don't know whether you know. And the Dragon Crew, which I just can't even talk about. Because it's just too pathetic for words. You know, so you got. What happened to like fit and not like salad-dodging, unfit, fucking scaredy people go into space? Apparently, yeah. These guys are just not going anywhere. In fact, they're really bad actors. They gave it all away. It was a terrible thing to witness. So insulting, really insulting. So yeah, demolished city halls in America. They can't help themselves, see. Okay. Just nice big Tartarian buildings. Let's get rid of this civilization. Okay. 1871, the Detroit City Hall. It's a mental one, that is. They don't last long. And this is American politics against the Cuban government. Cubans lack financial resources. Don't bother with them. Yeah, because of restrictions caused by the US. So this is brilliant, and if you don't know about this, this is what the Phoenicians wiped it to Africa, and it's despicable. It's just despicable. Take note. Hark! I have travelled across the length and breadth of Africa, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high morals, people of such calibre, that I don't think we will ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage, and therefore I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture. For if the Africans think that the foreign English is good and greater than their own, they will lose self-esteem and their native culture, and they will become what we want them, truly dominated nation. And that was in 1835. So in Africa in 1835 there was nothing but a glittering culture of Tartaria, as I've shown only a post ago. Giant glistening cities, no poverty, nothing like what they got now. Okay, that was brought by these lot. Yeah, see these fucking lot? I'm trying to emotionally roll, man. Anyway, Fifth Avenue at night in 1899, and it's fully electrified. They need to check their bloody shit with their shit, because they're not getting it all wrong. So electric lamps, they're not candles because they're in glass domes, you see, and the whole building's electrified. In fact, the whole of Fifth Avenue is electrified. 1899. So these kids have broken his window, okay, and he's like, have you broken my window? And they're hiding, but the dog will give them away. He's like, fuck off, you're giving us away. So they need a leg here. I've never broken a window with a football, ever. What's the time? Oh, it's been alright. So this is Fifth Avenue, and it's all like massive mudflood mansions, all bought by the Astors and the Vanderbilts, etc. But wow, look at all the volume of people. And why are they all on this residential street? These are mansions. Where are they all going? What are they all looking at? Is it a tourist attraction? These are looking penciled in, by the way. Shadows are weird. Don't know. Why the volume of people in Fifth Avenue? Where are they all going? Anyway. So, there's the Asian culture of templage. Antiquitech mudflood devices. Over and over again. No! Did you take the red pill? Or did you take the blue pill? Well, you wouldn't be here if you took the blue pill. That's 100%. What about this? What about the red pill? What is it? Do you know what drug it is? Do you know anything about it? What if it's red mercury? Now, he takes the red pill, and instantly after that, he touches a mirror, and the mirror absorbs him, and he goes into the mirror. On a matrix, okay, he eats a red pill, and he goes into the mirror. No, it does. Check it out. Clue. So this is the Olympics in LA, in antiquity, and this drugstore has some crazy antiquitech going on. Somebody sent me that. Thank you. Good snap. Evidence. Now this is the Paris Underground going in. Okay, and what you see is this wall. Okay, so let's just be unbiased and imagine that they laid this concrete for this new foundations, except they're digging all the shit out of the tunnel and they're shoring it up, and this is old work. See, to that old brick stone wall. And not only that, there's no mistaking he's hitting this concrete with a sledgehammer. They're not pouring it in, they're taking it out. So there's a tunnel, and there's an existence of what looks like an old tube tunnel made of concrete that they're pulling out, not putting in. This is older. They're not putting this in. Okay, this was there already. The underground, see, walls, old. The undergrounds were dug out. Okay, I'm coming back. I got loads more to show you, but I'm afraid time is not our friend. I wanted to do a live event and introduce you to the lost art of breadgami. I'm a master. In fact, I'm the only master, but I'm bringing it back to humanity. I think it's about time you learned, or we learned, okay, because it's such a noble art. It's like origami, but with bread. Okay, I was going to make you a breadina and a bready front and a bready dial. I still might on a live feed if I've got enough time. That was good. My breadina rocks. It's on my Instagram. Go on my Instagram, you can see it. So yeah, people commenting how realistic it looked. Bread. Like I said, I'm a master. Okay, at this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, wondering, don't even concern yourself. It's Martin, Flat Earth British. You'll find people just put up. Whatever reason. So we're looking at the Starforts and the possibility, and they were at a later date, so they were earlier, as early as you go back. They are shifting stuff underground by rail link to Starfort systems. And cannons above ground, huge cannons, they could have destroyed cities. Okay, and in the American Civil War also, they had cannon delivered by, I did have that link, but it's gone. So I'll show you. Cannon and troops by rail. Okay, so it goes right back. 1860s, they were doing it before. Guarantee you that. Peace and love to you all. I will see you in chat, and I will see you in chat. I'll hang out with you all. Okay, be good, and I will see you in a day or two. Peace and love.